Hey guys, we're in Denver, Colorado, and I'm at a launch event for the Stromer ST5 at a shop called Best Electric Bikes USA. They've been really hospitable, and I've gotten a chance to speak with the CEO of Stromer and North America director and a shop employee named James. So this review it's a little bit longer and a bit more in-depth, and I feel like that's justified because this bike is $9,999.99. It's a lot. It's one of the most expensive electric bikes I've ever reviewed. And it's neat to get to see this thing at a launch event when it's brand new and get people's impressions and feedback and stuff. So again, I just want to do the bike justice and give you guys all the insights and details that I usually try to, along with some extra fun stuff. So let's get started. This bike comes in 3 different sizes, 17, 20, and 22. I weighed the medium, and that's what I'm riding here. I am 5'9" and 135 pounds, by the way. And it weighs about 66.5 pounds. Versus the ST2S, which was like 57.5 pounds. So it's kind of an 8-pound difference, and that's significant. And you might wonder, well, like, why? Why does it weigh more? In part because it now has 27-inch diameter tires instead of 26. And these are custom. They're from Pirelli. They're called the Cycle E, and they say for Stromer. And at first I was like, well, they got rid of the reflective sidewalls, and you're going up to 28 miles per hour on this. This is a class 3 speed pedelec. Don't you want to be safe? Like, is any of the paint reflective? And no, it didn't really seem like it, even though it's a little bit metallic. It looks nice. It does have a super bright 1250 lumen Supernova M99, and it's also got this signature LED up here, but they don't, from the side, they're not super visible. And then in the rear, 5 LEDs. This is M99 as well, and there's a little license plate holder for people who are in Europe where there's different legislation around class 3. So I was like, well, why not reflective tires? So I asked them, and they were like, well, Europe has sort of dialed in the specifications for these speed pedelecs, and they won't allow reflective tires. Maybe because when you're driving with automobiles, it's like too distracting, and this is almost more like a moped now. I mean, it's powerful and it's fast. So I get that, and I guess that's reasonable. You can always come and, put some black reflective stickers on yourself, maybe on these rims. These are really nice rims. I believe they're like 35 millimeters, and they've got these reinforcement eyelets. 28 spokes up front, 14 gauge, so relatively lightweight, a little bit more flexible, high performance. 32 spokes in the rear, again, lighter weight spokes, 14 gauge. I was a little bit surprised because at first I thought maybe they were 13 gauge, but I measured them, and no, it looks like they're 14. So, you're dealing with high performance stuff here, and they've really refined a lot of their equipment, and they're trying to hit the legislative point. So when you pull the brake lever, the backlight kind of goes bright, and then this headlight is bright enough, and it's aimed down actually so that it won't blind oncoming traffic. I mean, this is automobile level stuff, and that's what they're trying to do here. They've got a product that can literally replace your car. They even have a kind of a fun commercial online where it's like, how can you afford this? Like, what do you do? And the guy's cleaning out his garage. He's selling his old motorbike. He's selling all this old junk in his garage so he can get the Stromer. And I think that makes sense. I mean, this is clean, it's powerful, it's going to be reliable. They've got a really good comprehensive 2-year warranty with 10 years on the frame. They only work with shops. This is premium stuff. And so one of the other European requirements that changed for them is the kickstand. A lot of the older Stromers, whenever you would lean the bike over, the kickstand would automatically like flick up. And that was just such a bother. Because you might imagine this is parked in your garage and you just kind of bump it. Well, that kickstand would flip up and the bike would tip over and scratch your car. It was horrible. So I really like that their new heavy kickstands, you actually have to kick it with your foot. That's great. So that's a big plus, but they still haven't gotten the positioning perfect in my mind. I would prefer if it were back here because you do end up with pedal lock. See how that happens? And now you got to pedal the bike forward and get the kickstand out of the way. They probably position it there just based on weight, because this is a 9.8 pound battery. It's fairly large. It's 48 volt, 20.5 amp hours, nearly a kilowatt hour of capacity. By comparison, a lot of bikes that I see with like a Bosch mid-drive or Yamaha or whatever, they tend to have like a 500 watt hour battery. So this is like double the size. So you come back to like, okay, those batteries weighed 5 or 6 pounds. This one weighs 9.8 pounds. I guess I understand that. And then back here with the motor, this is like a 700 or 800 watt, depending on how you measure it or what geography you're in. It's from TDCM, it's gearless, direct drive, and you can actually see there's like these teeth in there. You see those? That's where it's pushing. It's like a torque arm that's pushing against this 12 millimeter through axle with a special kind of a star bolt. I think they said it was T70, but I had someone at the shop say it was T60, and I don't know how to measure it. So unfortunately, this is something you don't get a tool with the bike for taking that off. At least that's what they told me. I talked to one of their European reps, and he was like, no, we don't include that tool. So at the shop, they had to kind of use an existing tool and pry some stuff in there to get this set up. And it's sort of like, well, on the one hand, it's very secure, so no one's going to be able to take your wheel off and steal your nice equipment and these special tires and stuff. But on the other hand, if you get a flat tire, you're going to have to buy this custom tool and probably not going to be able to find it at your local hardware store. So there's some real interesting compromises with this bike. It's an all aluminum frame, including the fork. Some of the older, like the Stromer ST1 Limited, it had like a carbon fiber fork, a little bit lighter and maybe a different vibration characteristic. Aluminum alloy seems to make sense here, and it's a really good mounting interface for these nice tubular alloy, extra wide fenders. They've got plastic end pieces, and again, you can just see how sturdy they are. They have not been vibrating. I've been riding, kind of all around town here for fun, trying to get an idea of how this thing performs, and I haven't had a problem with that at all. So 15 millimeter through axle up front, 110 millimeter hub spacing, so boost up front, and that gives you kind of a sturdier spoke bracing angle. And again, that's to support these 27.5 by 2.4 really large and thick tires. You can see the rubber pattern here. It's thicker on top, and they are supposed to be puncture resistant. I don't see any markings or anything, but that's just what they told me when I asked. So that's kind of nice to know. And then on the rear, it's kind of the same setup, but we've got this fender that's a little bit longer with the integrated light and everything. All the wires are hidden, and then we've got these buttons so you can add an optional rear rack, which you can see something very similar on, again, some of the ST1 Limited and some of the other bikes. So this is taking all of that existing technology and they're streamlining it even more. You can't see any wires up here, even from the brake levers. It's all hidden. Maybe there's one little wire right here, and then they sort of enter into the base of the handlebar. Yeah, so this is aluminum alloy. Then we've got some plastic right here, and this little flap removes, and that's where you can mount a phone if you want to. And we've got carbon fiber inserts for the handlebars. Nice Ergon GS1 ergonomic locking grips, high performance, quality stuff. TRP, these seem like 3, maybe 3.5 finger brake levers. They are adjustable reach, being hydraulic, and having brake light activation, and having recoup activation. They're pretty fancy, right? And it comes back to, I don't know, I talked to James, the tech who was setting these up, and it was like, yeah, this bike's a little bit different, but he seemed to do all right. And when you take this cover off, you do have access to more of the wires, and there's even like a little circuit board in there. So for me, it was like, well, what does this mean? I mean, I can't necessarily replace the handlebar anymore. Like, what if you want to have a swept back, like, riser bar? I actually set one of those up for my dad. We were loaned an ST1 Limited from Stromer a few years ago. I loaned it to my uncle, I loaned it to my dad. They tried it. It held up very well, except the display cracked, but otherwise it was great, a really reliable bike. The thing is, they want it to be more comfortable. So they replaced the seat post with a body float seat post suspension. Stromer is equipping the ST5 with a TransX anti-shock post. So this is a little bit nicer, 31.6 millimeters, and there is a shim here. So the seat tube is actually even wider, and you could maybe fit some other seat posts if you want to, but 31.6 is pretty standard in the industry, and it's a really solid interface here. You can lower the saddle pretty low. I've got all the specs and measurements back at the website. So coming back up to the handlebar, it's like, that's one thing that doesn't seem like you can really adjust. And maybe you want like a shorter or a steeper stem. Can't really do that because all the electronics and stuff are built in. So on the one hand, it's beautiful, it's clean, streamlined, but on the other, it's less flexible. And I was thinking the same thing for the fork here. This is rigid aluminum alloy, and it's got the special mounting points for the front fender. And it was like, what if you want to get a suspension fork? Some of the older Stromers had that option. This one, it seems like this is 1.8 to 1.5 tapered headset, but you can't see, it's all hidden, and there's more electronics and stuff in here. So I confirmed that with the company. They're like, yeah, it's tapered, and that makes sense. But they've got a proprietary solution. So instead of this rigid fork, you can get a 30 millimeter travel air suspension from Ren, and that might come out later in 2018. So it's like, okay, they're thinking about that, and hopefully it interfaces with the fender, and they said they're inverted, so the travel portion, the stanchions, are going to be exposed at the lower portion. Maybe that means that the fender will be suspended and still be able to mount. I'm very curious about that, and that goes along with the rear rack as another like little upgrade, little option. Really neat to see that kind of stuff and just the thought that's going into it. We were also able to go backstage and look at like a circuit board that's contained in this plastic piece, and then down here, that's the horn. So this does have a horn to be able to signal to people because you're riding at higher speeds and presumably in the city. Just awesome to see that kind of thing. 11-speed drivetrain here, Shimano XTR Di2 with electronic shifting, very precise and accurate and just fast and crisp. It does have the one-way clutch, so it's in the up position right now, which means it's active. So the springs are a little bit tighter. You can see the springs in here. That's like a mountain biking feature I've seen for a lot of off-road situations where you don't want the chain bouncing around and maybe slapping that chainstay. I don't see a slap guard. Some of the older Stromers, they had like these neoprene wraps. Can't say for sure whether or not this will have it, but you can always add a sticker yourself, like clear tape, or sometimes on Amazon they have a sticker. From this angle, you can also see that there's this new plug quick release system for doing service on the rear wheel. It's supposed to be a little bit easier to work with, just unplugging it and taking that wheel off if you need to. But again, you're going to need some of these proprietary star-like tools. And think about that when you go into this bike. You might need to stock up on a couple of extra tools. 11 to 42 teeth in the rear. Great range. Again, 11 sprockets. And then up front, 52 teeth. And it's got a narrow wide tooth pattern, which is really great. So it's going to hold on to that chain a little bit better, almost as if you had a guide, which it does not. And you can see how close the chainstay is to the chainring and then that outer guard, which is great for protecting your pants. We've got a hollow spindle here, so it's a little bit lighter weight, higher performance. That's another traditionally mountain bike sort of a upgrade. Everything on this bike is upgraded, and I do love that they've got some bottle cage bosses right there on the down tube. Whether you're using it for a drink or maybe just a folding lock or something, especially if you don't have a rear rack and you're just doing this kind of in the sport mode like this. Another excellent touch point is the Ergon SMC40 Stromer branded saddle. I think that works well with this Transx anti-shock post. It feels good, and I've lowered the tire pressure a little bit so that it's just more comfortable. It's shock absorbing. The bike's a bit heavier, so it seems to have this like solid feel. It's not like the bike is rattling all over the place. It's too heavy. The bike is actually absorbing some of that shock before it gets to my body, especially with those bigger tires and lower pressure. So that's something I was kind of dialing in during these test rides here and just letting a little bit more air out, especially since I'm lightweight. And then coming up to the display panel, there's a little power button underneath. We just press that. It does seem like it takes a minute to boot up, and you don't want to necessarily hop right on and start pedaling because the TMM4 torque sensor can get thrown off a little bit. Like you start pedaling, you're pushing, and it's calibrating, trying to find a 0 point, and it's just good to give it a minute. So it's still booting up, still booting up. There we go. Now we're in the main menu, and it's in S, which is the last level. That's the highest level of assist. That's what I was using riding over here. So I can press the minus key and bring it down to 3, 2, or 1, and we've got dynamic range readout along with a battery infographic and current speed. If we tap the display, it shows clock, trip speed, trip distance, trip time, and then it circles back. So good information, but it's pretty far down. You kind of have to look way down here if you want to get that feedback, and you don't want to be distracted when you're riding because you're probably riding a little bit faster. So that's where the optional like phone app comes in handy. And you might be wondering, well, gosh, I'm connected with my phone and running Bluetooth, and I've got this huge battery. How can I take advantage of that so my battery on my phone doesn't run out? And Stromer's got you covered. There's this little rubber flap, kind of a secret here with a 5-volt, 500 milliamp USB port, full size. Very nice. And then the headlight here, it's got all these white LEDs, sort of a signature U shape. And then there's the M99 Pro from Supernova. And you'll see when I covered it a second ago, it went into bright mode. So it does have like a light daytime sensitivity feature going on. And then there's the light button over here, which can make it even brighter. So it's just got a lot of modes, and it's a very cool light. It even angles up and down a little bit so you can dial it in. Really appreciate that. I just feel like the cockpit's so clean. It's easy to reach these buttons. They're illuminated, so at night you can kind of get a feel for them, but it's not so distracting. The display down here, it actually has a night mode, so it goes sort of a darker background and gets a little bit dimmer. Very fancy. This is a $1,000 upgrade if you've already got a Stromer electric bike and it has the older like grayscale display. $1,000 is a lot to spend, but this has the Bluetooth and sort of automatic unlocking features and stuff. I'm gonna check those out a little bit later in the shop. And then of course there's the horn, so you can kind of beep that. Kind of nice. I asked them, they said it was like 69 decibels or something, so it's cool. I'm glad it's not right up here by your ears, and it's a little bit more serious than like a flick bell or something like that, and probably more durable. And here's the charging port for the battery on this side. I feel like we've covered most of this bike. I hope this gives you a lot of insights and answers some of those questions. I did post in the forums, the Stromer forums back at the site, asking people, you know, do you have any questions? And I appreciate any other questions that come up when you're reading in the comments. Ask away and I'll send them back to the Stromer team, try to get you some answers. And yeah, I got to talk to the guys who work at Stromer, who are leading the company, and just get some feedback and perspective about where they're going and what this bike means to them. So I'm gonna cut over to that and you can hear for yourself. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes. Right. That's on camera. Is that okay? Do we need to cut? Hey guys, we're back at the shop and we've got the opportunity to speak with leadership at Stromer. So this is Tommy and Jakob. Did I say that right?
Yes, perfect.
Where are you guys from and what are your roles?
I'm coming from Germany. I joined the company and I'm the CEO of Stromer. I'm very proud to have this interview here in the US. The first time in the market, we do a 1-week tour to experience this exciting market.
A lot of flights. You just got in late last night and we've been talking, I've been studying the bikes, and actually Tommy, you connected me to someone in Switzerland. Maybe I was asking questions on the phone?
Yeah, that was with our product manager.
With your product manager, yeah. And what's your role? What do you do here?
My role is actually since 4 years or 4.5 years with the company in VP sales.
Okay.
So I'm globally trying to make sure that we can bring a nice bike to our happy customers.
This is fantastic. I mean, you guys have been focused purely on electric bikes since, when did the company start?
We started 2009 and the company was born as an electric bike company. So the idea of Thomas Bingerli, who was the founder, was to have a bike with a nice design, integrated design, and a fast moving motor, a powerful motor. And since then we are developing every day to have this bike.
And we just unveiled it, so this is kind of a first look, but you guys have been working on it for, I'd imagine, at least a year.
1.5 years we're working on it, and now we're just setting up, or we're in the production line in Switzerland. So this bike will be produced in our headquarters.
Wow. So the Swiss story, I've never been to Switzerland, but it looks lovely. You have the mountains, you need the power. So this bike's a little more powerful than the other ones,
so
yeah?
The story, or the reason for the Stromer is we wanted to eliminate the mountains, because for biking, mountains are very, very tough.
It can be tough, yeah.
So that's the reason for the Stromer. So no more mountains if you ride a Stromer.
And you guys, I mean, look at both of you. You're in good shape. You guys are clearly healthy. But we're looking at an electric bike, and sometimes people say, oh, electric bike, I'll just pedal. But it sounds like you use this bike daily, right?
Every day.
But I have a nice road bike, I have a nice mountain bike. I'm an adrenaline junkie, so the Stromer is my car repair, not repair, my car substitute.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Stromer to my office.
What's your commute like?
40 kilometers one way every day.
Whoa. So you put in it, there's a horn on this, there's lights, so it feels more like a vehicle. That's what
Yeah, it's a vehicle.
Okay.
This is also what makes us so strong. I mean, we came as a pure e-bike company from the beginning. So we had never intention to do other bikes, and we focused us since the beginning on commute.
Okay, well look, we're in the shop, right? And there's tools behind us. Cars need tune-ups occasionally and stuff. What do you tell me about the warranty?
There we are, I guess, very, very good, because we extended now even the warranty, because we never had an issue. It's on the frame. It's 10 years warranty now.
Wow.
So that is, I guess, a good thing. And also in general for the other parts, it's 2 years.
Okay.
And then the battery, it's we say it's 80% after 1,000 loading cycles.
Wow.
So this means we can do about 100 100 miles. So it's a lot of charges until the battery goes down.
That's fantastic. Yeah, so it's like 2-year comprehensive and 10 years on the frame. You guys loaned me a Stromer ST1 Limited like 3 years ago, and I've been riding it. My uncle rode it, the blue one, in the video, right? Thank you.
Yeah.
And it held up great.
So again, if you have the sort of commuting and substituting the car, you should also make it as easy as a car.
Yeah.
That means if I go to this new bike, it will unlock by himself, so you don't have to put a code in. And talking about the battery, you don't have a key, you just push the button, the battery comes out, because if you don't want to have the bike at your office or in your house, you just take out the battery, so you can recharge the battery either in the bike, or you take out the battery with a nice handle grab.
Yeah,
so
it does. It has the handle, and it's a big point, because this is almost a kilowatt hour on the battery. It's very big, which means you get excellent range. I think we were talking about this in miles, with something like 60 to 115 miles per charge, depending on the level of assist. The new sport mode is very powerful. So
but that takes, of course, more miles away than in normal with the sport mode.
Do you have any tips on battery care? So there's the handle, but I've heard avoid extreme heat, avoid extreme cold.
Never drop it.
Never drop it. Are we speaking from experience, Tommy?
No, never happened to me, but we all know there are a lot of customers underestimating what it means if they drop somewhere the battery once.
Yeah, so
because of the cells within can be damaged. So there we recommend to take care when you have a battery.
And you only sell through shops, so someone has to come in to get service at a shop, they get warranty support and replacement parts if you need it, right?
Yeah, we have everything.
Worldwide, we're above 500 dealers, huh?
650 doors.
650 doors.
Wow.
And every of this dealer get our training from our customer support, so all of them are trained to the specifics of the Stromer. The electronic stuff is complicated, so it's very important that I got a proper training to service you.
And one thing we always say, because the ones which are in the winter time not using the bikes, they should charge sometimes the battery, because that's the big surprise.
Oh, you don't want it to get too low.
If you go in a deep sleep, can happen if you don't charge for 3 months, 4 months, because we recommend at least once a month, not full, but at least half. We can measure if the battery was charged or not.
So you recommend checking on it every month or two, yeah?
Yeah, in the winter times when they're leaving it somewhere.
And I wanted to call out, you've got this charger, it weighs like 2.5 pounds. It puts out like 4.5 amps, so it's a faster charger than normal. It's even got the magnetic plug on the end, so that's also a little bit nicer. And if you trip over this, for example, it won't knock the bike over.
But we have even something nice. We have even a pocket charger on the size of this size.
For like travel with you.
For travel, but the good thing is actually it has a smart system, because it starts because that one is stopping loading. Okay. When it's full. Yeah. And then that's it. And the travel charger, if you keep it on, for example, in the cellar in the winter time, it's always going. If it's going below a certain point, it starts charging again.
So it's a maintainer. It's a smart maintainer. Yes. Fantastic. What's always struck me about Stromers is how quiet they are. The fact that they have recoup, and then that power, that feeling of acceleration. And I was reading like 800 watts or something. Can you tell me more about that? Is this a new motor?
I can repeat 800, yeah.
Wow.
800 watt. And for the top end bike, we have 48 Newton meter of torque.
Fantastic.
So you will have this Stromer smile as always if you go on this bike.
Stromer smile, is that what I'm seeing right here? Yeah.
It's all about that.
This is fantastic. You guys, thank you for going on camera with me and answering some questions. I'm going to dig into the app and do all the rest of the review and stuff, but it's just an honor. It's nice to have you over here. I hope your travels are safe.
Yeah, thanks for
coming.
Thank
you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Hey guys, so we're back in the shop and I'm with the lead mechanic, technician. What is it going to be, James?
It's lead mechanic today.
Sweet, very sweet. Well, I thought this would be a good place to check out the display and talk about the app, because it's not like glaring, we're not outside.
So with the new ones, there are 3G instead of 1G, which is the old system.
Yeah.
So everything's going to be much quicker with using the app and connectivity and knowing where your bike is positioned.
That's fantastic. And one of the big upgrades with the new bikes is that, it's like a keyless door, and you open it by kind of touching through here. And you know what? I messed that up. You press the button on the bottom. Thank you, James. He's the expert. And then there's the eject button right there. There it is. Oh, and I heard it click. and there's this little like button on the other side. It pops out. The battery, it's pretty cool. It's not actually on like a track like the older ST1s. It just sort of like fits into that square portion of the down tube.
So same charger for everything, no extra dongles or anything.
You brought up a really good point, James. Like right here, this is what he's talking about. There's the charging port on the side of the frame, and you kind of slide that piece of plastic up, and there it is. There's the same Rosenberger standard. But be careful with this little piece of black plastic, because it will get ripped off potentially, and then you'll be left with a less beautiful aesthetic. Have you ever replaced those? Is that something that they sell separately?
They do. It's not too common due to the fact of this piece of plastic that it sits on.
Yeah.
It's actually got a lot of give and play and bounce it around. So unless you're running your knee into it a lot, it should be perfectly fine. Okay, and you guys have been selling Stromer for a while, so you've got excellent insights. Let's go ahead and put the battery back in. I'm gonna fits it into the square area and locks into there like that.
There we go. Now it's in. Okay, so let's do this again. We press the little rubber button on the bottom. It boots up. This little circle on the top, how did you describe that? It's like a light sensor?
It's a photo sensor, photochromatic sensor, if I remember. With the new screen, it has different modes of bright screen or dark screen, so it'll automatically adjust just like your smartphone does for indoor, outdoor, bright weather. But the one I really like with this darker screen that we have on, riding at night is less distracting than having a very bright screen hitting you in the face.
Plus, it's further down, so you've still got lights. Are these always backlit?
Correct.
So it's like you kind of know what's going on. There's only 3 buttons. That's like the headlight button, plus and minus, and I just turned it to like bright right there, which is kind of cool. Plus, minus, easy to reach. The horn. There we go. I want to do a close up. So it's that like rubber piece right there, I guess. And we were actually looking at the inside of this. Can you take me backstage and show me that board again right now?
Sure.
Let's do it.
I don't know how big of a mess it is back here.
Employees only. Oh my gosh. Where are you taking me, James?
Big old storage room.
Oh, wow.
So this is a replacement board for an ST2S. On it, you can see they pretty much dip and waterproof the whole entire thing.
Gosh, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's like, it almost feels like hot glue or something's just been coated over the whole thing, so it's waterproofed. Okay, great.
And I've actually never had any of these go bad. They sent us these for training when I was teaching other mechanics how to work on Stromers.
Okay, so they do a good job. They're like, really training you guys.
Yep. So they let us hold on to these extras, and they're like, you're never going to need them, but yeah.
Well, do you have any idea what kind of amperage is put out through like the controllers on the Stromer bikes? Because I asked the team members and they didn't know, or they decided not to tell me. It's a secret, guys. I don't know. Let's go back to we'll do the display. Yeah. We're back in the service area. We'll keep going through the menu here. The main readouts just show like the light, whether you've got that on in different modes. So I guess the green is like
just standard
regular
running mode, and then the upper one. The thing on this one, Magura makes it, is it actually has lights that go down for when you're standard running, but when you want really long distance, like a long throw, that's when you activate it and it'll show the different display piece here. There is also a small blue light that just shows into the back of it.
Yeah, what's that all about?
That's telling you that it's in the high beam mode. And then actually with those, I actually have an old one here. This is the whole made in Germany. This is the whole unit piece here.
It's got like heat sinks, and I've heard that the M99 Pro, it's like over 1,000 lumens or something.
Yeah.
It's super bright.
It's, as you can see here, like painful bright.
Yeah, and then the rear light, this is the M99 as well. It has 5 red LEDs, and there's even like some white lights underneath. See how my hand is like a little bit white? That's for if you had like the license plate in Europe.
Also with it, it does change brightness on the rear light.
Yeah, do that.
When you pull the lever.
Either one. I think it's, left or right.
Yes. The brakes activate. It does the 2-part thing of one, it illuminates the back, but also on a Stromer, you can sell it to drag on the rear motor. It has like an engine brake built into it.
Like the recoup thing that they do?
Correct, where you automatically recharge it. When I ride my Stromer, I like it because if you pull the lever just partially, it'll engage the motor, but not touch your brake pads. So you actually never really use brake pads on these things.
It's great. Make them last.
Yeah.
Another thing Rob brought up is that this is where you adjust the Di2 shifting. So you hold the little button down here for a couple seconds, and then you use those to do micro adjustments. if you feel like there's been some cable stretch or it's out of alignment.
To go into the menu, and then it cycles back, you press the bottom button here, and that'll get you to lock the bike with your custom pin, power on and off, the sensor and calibrating it and how sensitive you want the bike to be engaging. You do have a move mode, which is the walk here,
walk mode.
Is really nice for it. And then you go down here and you have your menu, and then the new eject button, which gets your battery.
We did. Yeah, the eject is so cool. And the menu, there are so many. I mean, this is where you could go in, you could change maybe the units and stuff. There's language, there's the pin. There's a lot to this display. It's really nice to have all of that there. And again, as you said, it's not like too distracting. We turned it to black background versus white, specifically for this review because we're inside.
I think it kind of goes with Stromer's aesthetics and look of keeping it simple, clean. You do have the information if you need to, but the bikes just run well. So like, I don't know, I never looked at it.
Yeah, you don't, I mean, even the cockpit up here, so the shifters, they took out like the Di2 display and then they put the charging port for that down here. So it's really, they've gone to extreme lengths to clean this up, but you could also put your smartphone and mount it there. So you could have more information at your fingertips. And maybe we can check out the app. Do you have that set up?
I do have it. Pull out my phone here, we'll get it set up.
Nice. So we just launched the app. We're on I guess it could be iOS or Android device, yeah?
Yes, it is working for both. So you can see on here we have bike number 2 of our ST5s, and right on here it has really easy information if you want to lock the bike, which puts it into a secure mode. You just simply press this button here. I also like it because it tells you current batteries.
Oh, there's the percentage. Okay, great.
Trip distance and all your statistics with that, and then you can actually go into the more details of that. But the also great one, where your bike is.
Interesting.
And that's updated every 5 seconds to its current location. So if someone were to ever steal your bike, or for some reason you forgot where you put your nice bike, the app's got you covered.
Is there like a mobile chip in this bike then that's communicating that you have to pay for, or how does this work?
With the purchase of a Stromer bike, it comes with a SIM card that lasts for the existence of the bike.
Wow.
Yeah, so you get free cell service. It's part of the package.
That's awesome. Yeah, because it's much more precise. There are some other bikes that have tracking, but it's based on like crowdsourcing, where people have to be
nearby. By a Wi-Fi network and stuff like this. This is dedicated to 3G connection. So long as you're in cities and most rural areas, you'll have full connectivity to your bike and all its current stats.
Yeah. What else do we have in the menu here? So it's like you can lock it, see where the bike's at, trip. This is all the similar readouts that we had on the display, but now we're getting into some of the deeper stuff.
Temperatures of your battery status, good, so you can get really into the detailed information. They also now have like awards and stuff coming out since this bike is new.
It's like gamified, right?
Got its first 10 kilometers on the bike.
High five, so dude. Rock on.
It's going good. But the really fun one that I do enjoy through the app here is you can go into this setting right here, and this is all the custom tuning that you can have. On a Stromer, gear 1 and 3, one, it kind of counteracts the whole entire weight of the bike and makes it feel like a very light road bike.
Yeah.
3 is full bore, go fast. But 2 you can customize for whatever you like. And you go into the app here, so you can go into your motor tuning and say, I want more speed, do I want more torque, more agility. It still has the presets for if you're going on a tour, you're going through the city. I like the city setting a lot for it because it's max torque but not max speed. So it'll get you going from your red light, your stops and all that stuff, which is really great. And then all you do is you just press save, and then it uploads it to the app. You can also set up the auto lock for if you leave the bike unchecked for 3, 5, and I think 10 minutes, it'll automatically put itself into a lockdown mode.
Sweet.
Which pretty much makes it theft proof.
So it just like turns up the regen like all the way and you can't move the rear hub very easily?
Correct. You're stuck, and pretty much I had my full body weight onto the front left pedal. Nothing was happening.
Wow.
You couldn't go anywhere.
That's fantastic. Yeah, one of the other like convenience features they were talking about is if you've got your phone in your pocket and you get close to the bike, it unlocks, and then when you leave the bike, it locks. So it's you don't have to put the code in anymore if you don't want to.
They call that the seamless riding on it, where it detects by the Bluetooth range of it that you walk up, it unlocks itself, relocks the system as you go away.
Yeah.
And in that is this, where it completely locks down the bike, that nobody can get into the settings, nobody can do anything. You have to have the custom pin to get anywhere around that. So if your phone were to die, you can still unlock your bike and get home and charge your phone.
It's fantastic. So I really appreciate your help, James. This has been fun, and it's neat to speak with probably like the first person in North America to actually spend time riding and testing these. You did great.
Yeah, I'm tragically gonna have to ride them and test them all out. It's a hard life.
Yeah.
Has your Stromer been stolen?
So you click that and you can report it stolen.
Correct. It will instantly notify and lock itself down, and pretty much makes the whole process of recovering your bike very, very easy.
Have you ever gone through that here at the shop?
Court, you want to try pedaling it in shutdown mode?
Maybe, yeah. Is this a challenge?
All right, let's see if you can go anywhere with it.
It's in shutdown mode right now.
We'll lock it out.
Locked. Okay, that looks pretty serious. Can I hand you off the camera? Just point it. There we go. I feel some resistance.
Now, with it, it allows you to get a certain distance of it so you can move it yourself.
Yeah.
But then it'll actually, on the screen, switch over to theft. And that's when all the lights and all the bells and whistles start just going off on the bike.
How do you turn that off? If
You have to know your code.
Slow.
Yeah, I think he's stealing it. Is he getting away?
I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids. It's actually pretty cool because, yeah, it's like pulsing and it won't let me get any speed or really any power.
Or balance. You're pretty much going to fall over anybody who's on it. And then on your screen, you're still locked out.
Yeah.
And if you want to unlock it, let's have you tap the screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then press OK.
Okay. Now we're good again. Yeah, I like that.
Fully functioning Stromer again.
That's nice. Well, that's sweet. Yeah, but thank you. They're doing the little putting it to the test, guys. That was pretty neat. Okay, guys, I'm going to mount up. I do have that saddle in a high position because I want to maximize my leg extension while riding, but that means you got to maybe tip the bike a little bit to get over that taller top tube. There we go. So it's a definitely more sporty bike. They don't have a step-through model yet of the ST5. And I asked them about it, and they didn't, of course they didn't say anything. This is using that TMM4 torque sensor, but apparently it also has like a gyroscope or some other feedback, and it does seem a little bit more consistent than some of the other bikes I've seen with the same system. Like Easy Motion has used this on some of their Neo and Evo models. There's definitely like fluid acceleration, and then it sort of tapers off slowly, so it gives the feeling of like whoosh versus like woo and hitting a wall. That feeling comes in big time whenever you activate either brake lever, and that's nice. Some of the older Stromer bikes, it was only the right brake levers. I'm gonna pedal along in assist level 3 and just shine the camera around, give you some different angles. Not pushing very hard at all, and it's just so quickly up to like 10 miles per hour. "23, 24. I mean, it really feels powerful and fast to accelerate on this bike. And that's a great feeling when you're riding around cars, because it feels like you can command more respect and in some ways be more predictable. You're definitely behaving more like a moped or a scooter on this bike compared to some of the 20 mile per hour bikes. So, that's the whole thing about Class 3 speed pedelec. Feeling pretty stable with those bigger tires, and they do help you get across like railroad tracks and stuff a little bit easier. It's not gonna fall in and get you know, just taken out. And then the larger diameter too, that gives you a bit of lower attack angle, so bumps don't feel quite as substantial. Super smooth. I wanted to point out that I'm wearing my glasses because it's just such high, keeps the bugs out of your eyes and stuff, and the clear is good for night riding, and that I'm staying pretty dry on this bike, but I'm also using gloves because your hands get a little bit cold on these, and there's something called like bar mitts that can cover your hands there. Okay guys, from here you can see that 52 tooth chainring in the front. It's got narrow wide tooth, so it's going to hold on to the chain pretty well. And the cassette's a little bit wider than before, so 11 to 42 teeth instead of 11 to 40. So you have a couple of extra teeth on that large ring for climbing, just to give you extra leverage over these slightly larger 27.5 by 2.4 inch tires. And they're bigger, they're heavier, so it's nice that they took that in consideration when they were setting up the cassette. When I'm riding along, I'm going to hit some higher speed, so keep an ear out for the fenders and rattling and stuff, and the motor. You might hear it a little bit, but it is one of the quieter motors. It's by TDCM, 700, 800 watts. They weren't exactly clear on how they measure it. It might be different in Europe versus the United States. It's definitely powerful, and it puts out up to 48 newton meters of torque, which is quite a lot for a hub motor. So yeah, again, just get an idea for how this thing works. Whenever I activate the brakes, even when the calipers aren't engaging with the rotor, you're going to get a little bit of that regen, like roar, and you might hear that as well. So I'm kind of curious to see how this sounds on camera myself, and let's do it. And I'm in S, sport mode. Very nice, basically silent. Awesome. You know, the feeling of power, it really ramps up quickly, smoothly, very fluid, and then it continues even when I'm not pedaling and not applying much pressure anymore, and it fades out softly. So it gives you a feeling of like flight almost, where you take off and then you're soaring versus like woo. It doesn't cut out quickly unless you pull the brake levers and activate that regen. We got a long flat stretch ahead of us. I'm just gonna pedal away and hit some top speeds. Hopefully you can get a sense for what that's like. Very nice. Got all the way up to like 29.5. So yeah, it's a fast bike. That was one city block, and we beat the guys on cruisers back here by a long shot. You guys having fun?
Yeah.
That was pretty nice.
Awesome. Okay guys, the idea with this shot is just to see how that chain goes through the chain ring. Keep an eye out for water. I'm going to go through some puddles and listen for the motor, listen for that electronic shifting that's just behind you. You're on the right seat stay here. Yeah, we'll just see what it's like. So this is Zane, and he just hopped on the ST5, and I wanted to give like a third-person perspective. And yeah, is this your first ride on the bike, or what?
This is actually.
It is?
I haven't hopped on it yet, so
oh
I'm
my
excited
gosh,
to get
dude,
out there.
hold on tight. He's in level 1.
Level 1, starting out.
No need to rush it. Just wanted to show what it looks like.
This is my first time. I might have to try that
the S mode.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Very smooth.
Yeah. We do those brakes real quick?
Yeah.
Nice. There's the headlights.
The headlights, put it on bright.
Maybe brake one more time, Zane. Yeah, I love that. That tail light really goes bright.
That's a really nice tail light on this deck. Definitely very bright.
Very nice. How does it feel so far?
It's very sensitive for sure on that that torque sensor on there, which is nice because as soon as you start putting your pressure on those pedals, it takes off for you, which I love.
Yeah, and the brakes too. I mean, you got to be easy with them, as they're pretty.
You know, yeah, I myself am used to having some pretty tight brakes, but these guys are definitely, you know, you gotta watch yourself, definitely ease into them. But
while you were saying that, I was accidentally pushing down on the minus, and I went into recoup. I forgot about this. So it has like, if you hold the down arrow for a second, it goes into recoup.
straight into that recoup mode.
Yeah, and there's several levels, so you can.
5 different levels of it.
Yeah, it's like you can simulate a hill.
Super nice with that, and that, you know, it just sends power right back to the battery there in that recoup mode. So anytime you're going downhill, that's the mode to use.
He was saying anytime you're going downhill, just pop it into recoup, charge that battery up. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, headlights looking really good. Whoa, yeah. Nice, dude.
A nice brake on that.
Now with the regen, all the stop and go, like in city, actually, it's like I find myself stopping more gleefully, because it's like, whatever, I can get back up to speed, no problem.
We'll just recharge that battery a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no, on any other bike, it's every time I gotta stop is always a pain, but with these guys, it's...
One thing I noticed about the new display is, even though I have like a touch metal thing in this finger, I can actually just use pressure and change screens even with gloves on. So that's really cool, and it's necessary because when you go to turn the bike off, you press that power button on the bottom. This is where the settings and the lock and everything is. But you know, you press the off button there, maybe give it a little bit more pressure. There we go. Yeah, so it's pressure sensitive. It's a pretty nice setup. I definitely appreciate that on those cooler days. So I think that's it. Have fun out there, especially at high speed. Ride safe. Chime in with any questions you might have, and we'll see you next time. Hey guys, so we've got a few test riders who are back from the cold and wet. It looks like you survived out there. What's your name?
My name's Steve.
Steve, how did you fare on that? Have you ever ridden a Stromer before?
I have not.
You have not. This is your first time?
First time.
Ever ridden any electric bike?
Yeah, my wife has one, so I've ridden one. I'm looking to purchase one and tried the Stromer, and man, it was absolutely
straight to the top, man.
Right,
You're like straight at the best of the
forget
best.
the low stuff.
So tell me about your test ride out there. Where did you go, and what was it like?
Well, down at Mile High Stadium, we have a parking lot, and we went down there.
It's a really great
nice
place to
straightaway.
ride. Yeah.
And I got all the electronic shifting right here is the jewel of the bike, in my opinion. And then of course the brakes have the 4 pistons, so the stopping on the brakes was incredible.
We were looking at the rotors; they're like 203 millimeters. So
203,
that's like
huge.
Downhill mountain biking size.
Exactly, and I'm a mountain biker, so I really appreciate that. What I love was the electronic shifting was just a dream. It was just so precise. Click, click, click. There was no hesitation, no clunk. It was just so spot on.
Fantastic.
It was a really enjoyable ride. I truly enjoyed it.
What was the handling like? And you know, did the fenders? You obviously got some water on you because you were going pretty fast. What was your top speed out there?
Well, I got it up to 31.9.
Wow.
So, and I ran out of room, so I have no idea what the top end was.
Miles per hour.
Your miles per hour.
Was that an S? The S mode?
Yeah, it was S. So I started
S,
off on one. Even in one, you get a great boost. You know, because I took the sidewalk down there.
Yeah.
And in one, it's just so smooth. And then when I got out there, I went around a couple times. All right, I'll get it up to sport, to the S mode. I guess
yeah,
it's sport,
work your way up, right?
Right, work my way up, and then man, that thing was like a bullet. And I went all the way down, and I finally ran out of room. And I got up to 29. I go, I'm gonna try again, see what I can do.
Racing it.
31.9, and it was like I have to stop. So I don't know.
Was it flats relatively, or were you?
It was just pure flat. It was pure flat.
Okay.
Just pure flat parking lot, Mile High
So
Stadium.
tell us, if you don't mind, were you on the medium-sized frame? Do you know? I think
I was actually on the was it larger
it's like
XL?
17, 20, or 22.
I was a 22 because I'm 6'2", and it was pretty tall. It was right there.
Yeah,
it was right there. So
a little bit.
yeah, a large would have been
sport is
fine
what
too.
they
The
call
middle,
it.
medium size would have been fine for me.
How much do you weigh? Do you mind?
I weigh about 200.
Okay,
So
yeah. So because I think that's
it was
pretty-
perfect. Yeah, and it handled my weights absolutely easily. You know?
Is this your helmet? Did you bring this?
Yeah, I brought my own helmet, and yeah, and just it's just a nondescript bell. But
You got a bell. I got my bell helmet.
Oh, you
on
got a
right
bell
now,
as well.
too.
Yeah. All right, cool, man. Yeah.
I like these. It's got the nice little visor and stuff.
Yeah,
Did you
it's
need
great.
glasses? Because sometimes the water gets
You
in
know
your
what?
eyes.
I believe I forgot my glasses at home because of the weather. One of those deals where you don't think about it, right? Because it's snowing.
Then you end up going 30 miles per hour
right.
on
And
a
I'm
bike.
like, woo, yeah, flopping, my cheeks are flopping. But yeah, it was a blast. The absolute home run for Stromer Company. So totally thrilled. Totally thrilled.
I'm glad you had fun. Thank you so much for going on camera.
Yeah.
You have anything else to say? Any shout outs or anything?
Shout out to you, Court.
Boom.
Love the videos, dude.
I appreciate it.
All right,
I'm doing
man.
my best. We'll
All
see
right.
you on YouTube soon.
Oh, that'd be cool. Cool, man. Yeah. All right, thanks, Court.
Great job.
Hey, man, thank you.
We got another test rider back from the snow / the drizzle. What's your name?
Steve Smith.
Steve Smith. Awesome. We met earlier and we were doing some photos together. It sounds like you've been on EBR a little bit.
I have been.
I was flattered. Thank you, man. And now you get to educate me about the ST5 because I have not ridden it yet. I just want to get your feedback. What was it like?
It's very fast. Even at level 1, it seems to be.
Tell me you got above level 1 though, man.
Yeah, I did.
You did.
Yes.
Worked your way up.
I got it up to 30.
Nice. Wow. 30 miles per hour. That's pretty fantastic.
Pretty fantastic, even in the rain,
Yeah,
and it didn't
fighting
seem to
the
really
winds.
have much, stability problems, even when you jam on the brakes.
Okay.
And just a little waggle.
Well, because they're bigger, like wider
Yeah.
tires, and so stability was one of the issues that it sounds like they were trying to get that right. Did it feel heavy at all? Because the bike weighs a little bit more, but with
It does
the motor.
weigh a little bit more, and I can even pedal it, at 11, 12 miles an hour, kind of without even any assist.
Huh.
It's not something you really would do most times, but I just wanted to give it a shot. See
what it was like. So you did it unassisted then?
Unassisted.
You changing the gears a lot, or what was that like?
Yeah, and the shifting is really nice. The electronic shifting, is
very cool.
Something a lot better, and I hear it's also very reliable.
I think so. It's like really precise, and it shifts through the gears. I really appreciate your help. we're going to talk to Stromer HQ and get some details real quick, but I don't know. It sounds like you might take another test ride. So. Well, it was nice to meet you. Thank you for sharing your experience, man. Have a great day. Boom. Hey guys, so I met this guy, Dr. Ron, from where?
Boulder, Colorado.
Woo, I went to school in Boulder.
See you.
Fantastic.
So did I.
You did?
Yeah. Aerospace engineering.
Nice. Online videographer, blogger. I don't know what my job is, but I'm excited for you because everyone's going Stromer crazy today, and you got a Stromer, right? What is this
I just
one? Tell me about
got
this.
the ST1X.
Nice.
I had ridden the ST2 3 months ago and loved it, but I wasn't ready to spend the money on it.
Right.
$7,000 at the time.
That's a lot. That's a lot of back rubs or whatever. Back massages.
We do a lot of things besides back
A
rubs.
technical term.
And we do laser, acupuncture, all that stuff.
Okay.
But I wasn't ready to put that much money in at the time, and so I ended up buying a electric mountain bike.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is so fun to feel that pull going up the mountains and
Chautauqua.
stuff.
Do you ever ride out there?
Yeah. But we didn't want to tear up Chautauqua.
Sure.
I'm up on Sugarloaf. But I had troubles with that bike. And Terry, I talked with him here at Best E-Bikes, and he said, come on in. And he basically just worked a fantastic deal for me.
Wow.
With Stromer. And I've been watching your videos for the last 3 months.
Thank you.
And by the time I came here today, I was pretty sure I want the quality, I want the sleekness, I want the coolness and the power.
Yeah.
of a Stromer, and I just test rode it again, and it was the same feel that I had 3 months ago and wasn't ready to spend the money on. And this time everything just fell into place.
You're sold.
I'm sold.
Man, it's a nice looking bike. So this is the ST1X that we're looking at, right?
That's right.
And you were talking about like just the motor feel. Does your other bike have a mid-drive, or what was it?
Yeah, it was a mid-drive German bike.
Okay, so this one, you know, it's got like the gearless direct drive. Just, can you tell me what the experience was like? Because it looks like you were just out there riding.
I was just out there riding, even in the rain.
Yeah.
Tires were good.
Nice, and the fenders too.
And the fenders, my wife will appreciate it when we do the laundry.
Yeah, let me see your back. Are we good? Yeah, hey, good. There's no stripe.
I had decided I wanted a hub motor. I'm not fully convinced that the current technology is able to take that much force from a crank motor into that rear wheel.
Yeah.
And the hub motor is so slick. Even when I'm shifting, it all just falls into place so easy and smooth.
Yeah, I agree.
And it gives me a lot of leeway.
And you can shift gear, it's independent of your gear shifting, so you don't have to worry about the chain and the sprockets and everything like that.
And this is a 1x10, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's got a nice derailleur and everything. So this is it. This is the bike. It's looking pretty good. You take it home today? Are you going to commute to work, or what's your plan?
I can't wait to take it home today.
Nice.
And actually, Terry gave me a special deal as well. He's going to be replacing the Omni when the new version comes in.
Nice.
He didn't even charge
the
me
color
for it.
one. Yeah. Oh man, you got a sweet deal.
I got a sweet deal.
Well, I appreciate it. What's your business in case some of us bikers need a back adjustment?
I'm at New Paradigm Healing in Boulder. I'm a chiropractor.
Okay.
Acupuncturist, naturopath. And I've been in business for almost 40 years. So I'm almost 70 years old. And I love things like this.
Fantastic, man. You look just super happy, and I hope the bike holds up really well for you. And maybe we'll see you at the shop in the future. We're
Sounds
upgrading.
great.
Boom. Thanks, bud.